One Ajaokuta-Kaduna-Kano gas pipeline project will provide gas for generation of power and for gas-based industries.
A dream come true. Work on life-changing $2.8 billion Ajaokuta-Kaduna-Kano gas pipeline project formally kicks off.
We need to do more work to ensure that before any increase, there must be some measures, some steps.
National Assembly leadership scales up intervention on proposed July 1 electricity tariff increase. President Buhari presents status report on lifting 100 Nigerians out of poverty as part of global response to poverty eradication.
The President directed that it should now be in all the 774 local governments in Nigeria.
Plus, disagreement over supervision of FG's 774,000 jobs, Labour Ministry clarifies. Good evening. It's good to have you join us on the Network News tonight. I'm Ian Ray John. Reading with me tonight are Dotun Ogunyemi in Lagos and Dibabari Siedoma Weke in Port Harcourt. Construction work on the $2.8 billion Ajaokuta-Kaduna-Kano gas pipeline project has begun. President Muhammadu Buhari, who presided over the virtual flag-off ceremony, described the project as fundamental to the nation's desire to not only industrialize but energize the entrepreneurial spirit of its populace. State House correspondent Adamu Sambu has details.
I am unveiling the flag.
Governor Yahya Bello of Kogi State and his Kaduna State counterpart Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai, on behalf of President Muhammadu Buhari, physically performed the flag-off for the commencement of works on the landmark project at Ajaokuta and Rigachikun respectively.
Today marks an important chapter in the history of our great nation.
The President, who was joined at the Council chambers by the Vice President and presiding officers of the National Assembly to preside over the virtual event, described the gas pipeline project as dear to the people of Nigeria and therefore must be completed on time, within budgetary allocation and according to specifications.
When completed, the Ajaokuta-Kaduna-Kano gas pipeline project will provide gas for generation of power and for gas-based industries, which should facilitate the development of new industries and also the revival of urban industries along transit towns in Kogi State, FCT Abuja, Niger State, Kaduna State, and Kano State. The project is therefore part of the delivery of our next level agenda for sustainable development and enhancement of the economic prosperity of our country.
President Buhari expressed delight that the nation's domestic natural gas pipeline networks from Rivers, Delta, and Lagos states will now be connected through Kaduna to Kano states, thereby enhancing national security, creating balanced development, and further integrating Nigeria. Consequently, apart from fostering the development and utilization of local skills and manpower, technology transfer, and promotion of local manufacturing, the project also has significant job creation potential.
I challenge our private sector to lead in maximizing our gas resources to create a petrochemical hub that will resurrect not only our manufacturing capacity, but place us squarely on the path to increase self-sufficiency. As the world evolves, we owe our people the responsibility to prepare them for what the future holds. We therefore must be bold and fearless and can no longer be incremental in our approach. Time is short, and our people's zeal is strong and palpable. Infrastructure development, although long, tedious, and complex, remains a cardinal objective of our administration drive towards ensuring a stable, sustainable, and more prosperous future for our citizenry.
Describing the day as good for Nigeria's development, evolution, and integration, the president is counting on the support of the governors of Kogi, Niger, Kaduna, and Kano states, as well as the minister of the FCT, towards providing the enabling environment for the successful execution of the project. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Nigeria is on the verge of optimal utilization of her gas reserves in the home front and for export. This is on the heels of the formal flag-off of the construction of more than 600 miles Ajaokuta-Kaduna-Kano gas pipeline. Abdullahi Mohammed was at the Kaduna end of the flag-off.
Firewood, an essential commodity in the sustenance of households across sub-Saharan Africa. On the other hand, chiefly responsible for deforestation, a dangerous trend hitting the environment below the belt. But the giant of Africa, Nigeria, has conceptualized and flagged off the construction of a gas master plan, which is expected to arrest the trend of tree falling. With this flag off, more than 600 miles of gas pipeline will be laid, transporting about 3,500 metric tons of natural gas and energy to households and industrial clusters from Ajaokuta in Kogi State to Kano.
This project will transform the lives of the people of Kaduna State and will improve its economy. So we're very grateful to the federal government, to Mr. President in particular, for seeing this through.
I must say that this is a very transformational project and very good for the integration of this country. I am very proud to be part of this project.
In a kitchen like this one, the dividend will be colossal. Cheap natural gas will be made available for cooking.
In fact, when the project takes proper shape, cylinders like this one will be eliminated in typical kitchen like this ones across household in Nigeria. What will be prominent are pipelines that will connect to this kind of kitchens and supply natural gas.
It's commendable now that we are linking the gas pipeline now to the north, because that would be the key to drive industries.
Industries in need of energy will also have it at their doorstep, as investors are expected to play critical roles in that regard. Other byproducts are also expected to feed farms with fertilizers and several other opportunities. In Kaduna, Abdullahi Mohammed, NTA News.
And for Kogi people, the groundbreaking of the $2.2 billion construction of Ajaokuta-Kaduna-Kano gas pipeline project is indeed a significant milestone for them. This is especially with an expectation that gas pipeline to homes may just be a reality in the nearest future. NTA correspondent Charles Afar reports that this underscored the wide acceptance and gratitude expressed on the project.
Ajaokuta is Kogi's biggest industrial site with steel and iron ore companies, the West African ceramics, and yet again records another milestone achievement as the phase 1 of the Ajaokuta-Kaduna-Kano gas pipeline adds to the consortium of companies providing millions of jobs opportunities to Kogi youth and beyond. For the inhabitants of Kogi State, the project is expected to serve the more than 1 million households spread across rural and urban communities. It is definitely a new lease of life and an economic boost for more than 4 million Kogi people, providing a wide range of jobs opportunities for skilled and unskilled labor in engineering, procurement, construction, installation, testing and commissioning of pipeline system.
The master plan, Your Excellency, is meant to leverage on the nation's huge natural gas reserve base to stimulate unprecedented economic growth and enable Nigeria's migration from the current modern economy into a diversified economy.
We all know that Mr. President ran on the mantra of security, fighting corruption, and reviving the economy. And this is one of the programs that is geared towards reviving the economy of this country.
Oilserve Limited, one of the 2 indigenous companies handling the project, is expected to carry out the first segment of the 2-phase construction covering 303 kilometers. For the group chairman of Oilserve, the project is funded by contract finance and designed to boost upstream activity to utilize the abundant gas energy resources.
Because it's not just about the use of gas, it also enables what we call upstream activities to come up, which means the production of gas itself. All these flare gas you have in Niger Delta and everywhere you have oil fields will be extinguished.
Now, this project, when completed, is expected to facilitate the development of 3 independent power-based plants from Ajaokuta, Charles, Alpha, and NTA News.
Joining us now to talk about the Ajaokuta-Kaduna-Kano pipeline via Zoom is engineer Emeka Okwosa. He is an oil and gas expert. Many thanks for joining us.
Very much.
All right, so what would you say is the significance of this landmark project that has officially been flagged off by President Muhammadu Buhari today to the socio-economic development of Nigeria?
This project is very significant, but before I commence, I will first of all use this opportunity to thank His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, for actually taking the bold step to actualize this project. It's been on the drawing board for quite a lot of years. When he came into power in 2015, he took it from there and then walked through and gave all the support to NNPC. And working closely with NNPC, we have been able to get to this stage where we are. So, first of all, to give honor to who honor is due. His Excellency has always been supportive and has always supported. And if you look back, you will also remember that most of the infrastructural projects in oil and gas industry that were built in the 70s were done when he was the Commissioner for Petroleum Resources at the federal level. Now, coming back to the significance, AKK pipeline is a part of the Trans-Nigerian gas pipeline system, which is also a part of the Nigerian gas master plan. And what is going on with AKK is that it's going to move gas from Ajaokuta all the way to Kano. And in doing so, we're able to set up and power plants to give us power. This power will be able to drive industries that are moribund across Nigeria, mostly in the north. And in the same vein, we know that this gas will produce the feed and the necessary energy to drive industries and be able to go back to industrialization that has eluded us over quite a long time. Finally, I would say that this is a project that will also help to reduce the flare gas that we have spread all over Nigeria where you have oil and gas production. Apart from the environmental effect that it will help to reduce, it will also help us to amortize this gas. So it is hugely significant. But let's not forget that during construction, that there will be a lot of jobs created. Thousands of jobs will be created across board, and this is really significant.
All right, it's obvious that this project will do us good. Now, as a major player in the Nigerian oil and gas sector and also a stakeholder in this project, how would you say it will impact efforts at developing local content in the oil and gas sector?
It is actually underlying a project as far as local content development is concerned. Local content development has gone on over years. For OilServe, for example, we kicked off our activities in 1995 and slowly built up capacity block by block to the extent today that we employ more than 600 staff. We are significantly a company that showcases local content development. And we have worked very closely with NCDMB in order to develop it even further. Now, AKK is the first project of this magnitude that a Nigerian company or Nigerian companies will be building. OilServe will be building the first segment, the 303 kilometers, very first one that commences from Ajaokuta all the way midpoint between Abuja and Kaduna. And I can tell you clearly that in years before, when you mention projects like this, you'll be thinking of multinationals, foreign companies. This goes to attest to the capacity that is being built in Nigeria, in the oil and gas industry.
So,
thank you so much, Engineer Emeka. Thank you for your time. We're not done with the AKK gas project yet. From the Kogi end of the construction, Lydia Sampson reports that the economic benefits of the AKK pipeline will originate from Ajaokuta in the state and traverse Abuja, Niger, Kaduna, extending to Kano. It's already been felt by the Ajaokuta community in Kogi state. Lydia Sampson reports.
35-year-old Shola Adebisi, an indigene of Ajaokuta village, says her life begins and ends in Ajaokuta since birth. A fish pepper soup seller, Shola says she's happy that a new lease of life has come to her people with the AKK gas pipeline.
We thank God for what people have created for us with our youth and others that they are working. It makes us to be happy.
Her sentiment is also shared by 32-year-old Ahmed Abdul-Mumini, a father of one. He said he's optimistic of a better future for his child. The pipeline project is being implemented via a build and transfer public-private partnership model, which involves the contractor providing 100% of the funding. In line with the local content drive of the federal government, an indigenous engineering company is the lead contractor.
Give thanks to the President of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari. Clearly, he has been at the forefront of driving progress in the oil and gas industry.
For the GMD and NPC, President Muhammadu Buhari has written his name in history.
NNPC is transiting towards becoming an integrated energy company to support the Excellency's agenda of economic diversification. One of such efforts, Your Excellency, is the expansion of NNPC's domestic gas footprint in our country.
The AKK pipeline will cost an estimated $2.8 billion.
For many, the Ajaokuta-Kaduna-Kano gas pipeline is not just only restoring livelihood, but also coming with windows of opportunities that will positively impact the people and the community. From Ajaokuta in Kogi State, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
And away from the gas project now, the leadership of the National Assembly Tuesday visited the presidential villa to further express their reservations on the proposed increase in electricity tariff scheduled to take off from the 1st of July this year. Senate President Ahmed Lawans and Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajagbeamila, met with President Muhammadu Buhari and thereafter met with Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, who heads the Power Sector Reform Coordination Group, for more deliberations on the impending increase in electricity tariff, which the National Assembly believes that now is not the right time for implementation due to the challenges of COVID-19 on the nation.
Sure that that announcement of the increase in electricity tariff in Nigeria is untimely, and we believe that we need to do more work to ensure that before any increase, there must be some measures, some steps, and some line of actions that must be exhausted, including the metering. And this is a welcome idea to the Vice President as well.
The situation, as the Senate President says, demands that everything possible should be done to make life easy for the people, noting that government is doing a lot in this respect.
These are businesses, so they must do everything and anything possible to provide services. It's when they provide services, efficient and effective services to consumers, that they can make money. But in the process, as a government, we too must ensure that we discharge our obligations as provided for in the share purchase agreement signed. And once we're able to achieve that, we would have a better situation in the power sector in Nigeria. It's doable. It has happened elsewhere.
It is not at this time that we will be increasing electricity tariff. Yes, there may be a need, but there must be timing. That's the work of the parliament, to help, to assist, to work together and have a symbiotic relationship with other arms of government and with the people. International Parliamentary Day, we're the closest to the grassroots, we're the closest to the people. We feel the pulse, we hear them, we see them, we understand them. We're a heartbeat away from the people, the grassroots that we represent.
The Assembly leaders advised DISCOs to continue to engage with consumers and to provide better service to the people and the nation. This is the network news on the NTA. Ahead, prospects for pay-as-you-go billing in cable television viewing. Details after these messages. Good to have you back. President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed formal appreciation to the Presidential Economic Advisory Council for its outstanding support and guidance to his administration. He, however, says more still needs to be done towards exiting Nigeria from the worrisome state of development. This was while interacting with members of the council in a virtual meeting anchored from the council chamber at the Presidential Villa. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has the report.
The virtual interactive engagement provided the opportunity for members of the Economic Advisory Council to not only appreciate the Buhari presidency for implementing their various recommendations, but also suggest to government a number of tough choices to make so that the economy can be placed on a higher growth path. Chairman of the Council, Professor Doyin Salami, specifically described as encouraging the review of the 2020 budget, deregulation of the pump price of petrol, approval for the implementation of the Orosanye report, and the adjustment of the exchange rate regime. The Council also welcomed the ratification of the Economic Sustainability Plan by the Federal Executive Council, but called for caution in the implementation of the 2.3 trillion naira stimulus package. The plan, the members advise, should be executed using existing institutional and administrative structures, saying attention must be paid to sources of funding to avoid inflation. Professor Salami also made a case for the setting up of priorities and a 12-month target for the completion of all projects, and where this is not achieved, such projects be rolled into the new Economic Recovery and Growth Plan. Also recommended include the promotion of export-oriented production strategies, mass housing production to create jobs, continuous easing the environment of doing business, and the need to make the economy attractive to non-debt private sector funded investment towards cutting the rising cost of debt service. President Muhammadu Buhari described the suggestions as a thought-provoking tutorial worthy of attention by government. This, he said, is imperative as Nigeria is not only characterized by large population of poor people and serious deficit in infrastructure, but also a vulnerable economy haunted by COVID-19, collapse of the oil sector, and its effects on the gross domestic product. The President accepted the immediate need to activate the Council's proposal on the prioritization of the Public Policy Coordinating Office, promising that his administration will continue to listen and do its very best for Nigeria and Nigerians. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the global community now has a platform to collectively tackle the menace of poverty plaguing hundreds of millions of people around the world. At the launch of the United Nations Alliance on Poverty Eradication in New York, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres and President of the UN General Assembly, Professor Mohamed Tijani Bande, led discussions on the form the global response on poverty eradication should take, and Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari also addressed the virtual gathering of global stakeholders on poverty eradication. President Muhammadu Buhari restated his government's commitment to lift 100 million Nigerians out of poverty in the next 10 years, noting that all relevant government agencies are working in harmony to realizing his objective by implementing several poverty eradication programs.
The current crisis have further shown how interconnected the world is, and thus the greater need for closer interaction and collaboration as we confront its impact. In Nigeria, with a population of about 200 million, Over 54% of our people live in various stages of poverty, and the prospect of our population sliding further into extreme poverty is real. Excellencies, Nigeria attaches great importance to poverty eradication.
This high-level meeting consists of 4 segments: an opening segment, a high-level panel discussion, an interactive segment to share experiences and good practices, and a closing segment. The high-level panel discussion and interactive segment will be moderated by Ms. Elisa Fleming, Under-Secretary General for Global Communications.
Today, many developing countries face a financing gap, making it difficult for them to pay for a robust, rights-based social protection system. And that is particularly the case, of course, for the poorest countries, the least developed countries, who may deserve greater forms of support.
Now heading to the National Assembly, 1 hour after the Senate reconvened for its 2 weeks recess, it adjourned in honor of late Senator Ajaokuta-Kaduna-Kano, who died during the recess. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nkwo reports.
Less than 24 hours after the inauguration of the committee that will select the 774,000 recruits from states, the National Assembly Joint Committee on Employment, Labor and Productivity met with Minister of Labor to brief it on the process so far. The committee demanded to know how the pilot program became expanded.
The first pilot kit, we have not done with it because of COVID-19. 2 are left. Where are you now? How you come about the committee, the inauguration of the committee?
Mr. President directed that it should now be in all the 774 local governments in Nigeria.
The legislators expect that the program should be under the National Directorate of Employment and not the minister, but he explained that the NDE Act confers on him the right to supervise the program.
What are your key performance indicators? How are you going to measure the success of this program?
The future of the program is solely the responsibility of NDE under the condition of the Honourable Minister. They are not involved in it.
Mr. President raised a memo directed at me, addressed to me and the Minister of Finance, giving me the mandate to supervise the preparation and execution of the program.
Midway into the meeting, the session degenerated into a disagreement.
And there's nothing to apologize for insisting we should do it before the cameras.
You want a program without key performance indicators? Without proper... I would like to answer it.
Eventually, the minister left. Meanwhile, Senate had adjourned Tuesday's plenary in honor of late Senator Ajaokuta-Kaduna-Kano, who represented Lagos East Senatorial District.
In the Senate, he's been a very calming influence.
A very gentleman, very hard-working and a very honest man.
The Ninth Senate has lost 4 of its members. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
And still in the National Assembly, the Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, says pay-as-you-go cable satellite TV service is achievable in Nigeria, as it is already in practice in some jurisdictions. The minister stated this when he appeared before an ad hoc committee of the House of Representatives. National Assembly correspondent Lamiali reports.
The minister, while making submissions before the House ad hoc committee, investigating the non-implementation of the pay-as-you-go cable satellite TV broadcast service, informed members that the resolve of the ministry to open up the broadcast industry necessitated changes to the broadcasting code. The purpose, he added, is to break monopoly.
Star Times launched the pay-as-you-go model as far back as November 2017, and this plan enables its customers to enjoy pay per day, pay per week, or pay per month.
Lai Mohammed says amendment to some sections of the National Broadcasting Act, which has already been forwarded to the National Assembly, will change the fortunes of the industry. Chairman of the ad hoc committee, Representative Idem Uime, says the mandate given to the committee is in response to the yearnings of Nigerians, insisting that all service providers must abide by the regulations guiding satellite TV broadcast in Nigeria.
Is one of the sectors of the Nigerian economy that has a lot of potentials and is capable of employing a lot of Nigerians. The potential is so vast. Why do you allow only one operator to dominate the system to a point that any new operator that comes aboard will die the following day?
The committee directed the National Broadcasting Commission to ensure that cable TV providers that recently effected increase in charges revert to status quo. Meanwhile, House plenary was suspended Tuesday in honor of the late Senator Adebayo Oshinowo. Prayers and a minute silence were observed for his repose. Sitting was adjourned to Thursday, July 2nd. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Ondo State Governor Akeredolu has tested positive for COVID-19 after treating malaria. The governor disclosed this via his Twitter handle. Doris Olumoko reports.
Governor Akeredolu in his Twitter handle announced that his COVID-19 test results came back positive Tuesday.
I had malaria a few days ago and was treated. I did get over it. Malaria should not be just treated lightly, but that I should go ahead and have a test for COVID-19. And I tested positive.
The governor said, despite his current situation, he will continue performing his official duties from home.
I am asymptomatic. I'm not feeling sick, neither am I feeling hard in any way. But my doctors have decided that I should take the normal treatments and self-isolate.
Ondo State currently has 276 cases of COVID-19 with 89 recovered and 19 deaths. In Akure, Doris Olumoko, NTA News.
The Corps Marshal Federal Road Safety Corps, Dr. Boboyo Yemi, has stated that the lift of the ban on interstate movement is not a warranty for reckless driving and overloading of vehicles. A statement by the Corps Public Education Officer, Bisi Kazim, indicates that the Corps Marshal, who strongly re-emphasized on the permission of movement of vehicles across the state borders only outside curfew hours, with effect from 1st July, ordered commanding officers to ensure that motorists observe all safe driving ideals and guidelines on physical distancing in the vehicles, including use of face mask. Kazim also revealed that the Corps Marshal's order to commanding officers is to ensure full utilization of the workforce through effective deployment of personnel to arrest without hesitation any motorist who contravenes the national orders by overloading their vehicles, violating directives on interstate travels beyond curfew hours, and compulsory use of face masks. Now time to go to Lagos, where Dotun has the next sets of reports.
Thank you, Ian Ray. Nigerian Breweries PLC, manufacturers of Maltina non-alcoholic drink, has commenced entries for the 6th edition of the Maltina Teacher of the Year 2020. Amaka Owo, who witnessed the event in Lagos, reports that the sum of 6.5 million naira, in addition to a trophy, awaits the winner of the competition.
Maltina Teacher of the Year is an initiative of Nigerian Breweries PLC that demonstrates its corporate philosophy of winning with Nigeria. Entries for the 2020 edition of the competition has commenced. It is to appreciate the resilience of teachers who find new ways to teach virtually due to the limitations occasioned by coronavirus pandemic.
To the first prize winner, 1 million naira, 500,000 naira to the state champion, and 1 million naira annually for the next 5 years.
Eligible teachers from across the country from private and public schools can register by logging onto the dedicated website www.maltinateacheroftheyear.com. All applicants must be registered with the Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria and must not be above age 55.
Until August 14, we will be receiving entries, and then from August 15th, we'll start the collation and the grading until we then have the grand finale in October.
Stakeholders laud the initiative.
What Nigerian breweries has done indirectly through this competition is perhaps bringing a healthy rivalry among teachers throughout Nigeria.
The Maltina Teacher of the Year, which began in 2015, is sponsored by the Nigerian Breweries Felix Ohiwere Education Trust Fund, established in 1994. Since then, it has built and renovated over 417 classrooms and recognized true professionalism in 118 teachers. In Lagos, Amaka O, NT News.
And that's it from here. Network News continues.
Thank you for staying. Caretaker and Extraordinary National Convention Planning Committee of the All Progressives Congress has approved the appointment of the former Senate President Ken Unamani and the Governor of Niger State, Abubakar Sani Bello, to chair the party's reconciliation committees for Edo and Ondo states, respectively. The party, in a statement by its Deputy National Publicity Secretary, Yakini Nabena, says the development is in line with the process of reconciliation among leaders and members of the party at all levels. The statement says this was announced by the national chairman of the Caretaker and Extraordinary National Convention Planning Committee, May Malabuni. The party's 7-member reconciliation committee for Edo State has Senator Ken Unamani as chairman and Abdul Rahman Kau Sumaila as secretary, while that of Ondo Reconciliation Committee has the Governor of Niger State, Abubakar Sani Bello, as chairman and Shino Pella as secretary. Nigerian female politicians have called off their planned protest to express grievances over non-inclusion in the just established National Caretaker Committee of the All Progressives Congress. Rather, have decided to write a letter of appeal to President Muhammadu Buhari. This followed the intervention of the Minister of Women Affairs, who received the letter for onward transmission to the President. While receiving the Coalition of Nigerian Women in Politics, Pauline Talin commended their resolve to observe the guidelines issued by the Presidential Task Force on Social Distancing, as she would have personally led a group to present their letter. There are 2 letters endorsed by 54 women organizations protesting the inclusion of only 1 woman in a 15-member caretaker committee of the APC. And away from politics, the President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, has advised the Nigerian police force to ensure the implementation of community policing in all states of the Federation. Senator Lawan was speaking at a meeting with the Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, on measures to strengthen Nigeria's security structure through community policing.
Have been implementing the community policing, and this meeting is an opportunity for you to give us an update of where you have which states you have implemented the community policing and how it happened and how successful it is. And those states that you have not will need a program, a line of activities. States 1, 2, 3, 10. You start the implementation so dates.
All the committees for the implementation of the community policing strategy have been inaugurated in almost all the states of the Federation. We are at this level of selecting the community policing officers now. We hope by August, September, we'll complete the process.
President of the Senate called for recruitment of more police personnel for adequate security coverage. Strikes executed by the air component of Operation Gamma Ike at Kasuan-Ango community in Meriga local government area of Niger State have resulted in the disruption of the activities of a group of armed bandits operating in the area. A statement signed by the Coordinator Defense Media Operations, Major General John Eneche, indicates that the successful air operations were conducted sequel to credible intelligence reports, and the air component dispatched a helicopter gunship to engage the bandits in multiple waves of attack, leading to the neutralization of some of the bandits, while 2 of the escaping bandits, who happened to be foreigners, were later apprehended. The Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, while commending the Operation Gamma Ike air component for their dedication and professionalism, also thanked Nigerians for their support and encouraged the general public to continue to provide useful information that would facilitate peace and security in the country. And still on security, troops of Operation Well-Stroke have eliminated 4 armed militia men at Rafin Kada in Wukari local government area and Yoja in Donga local government area of Taraba State. A statement by the Coordinator Defense Media Operations, Major General John Eneche, indicates that the troops operate under the Operation Accord. The statement notes that the troops of Bise in Katsinala local government area in Benue and Sector 4 in Taraba conducted a joint operation to eliminate suspected militias at Shi Junkum village, adding that 4 of the militias were killed. Similarly, troops responded to a distress call in Zaki Biam and apprehended a kingpin kidnapper who is currently undergoing interrogation. The High Command of the Armed Forces of Nigeria congratulates the gallant troops of Operation Well-Stroke for their dexterity and professionalism. Let's now join Dibabari in Port Harcourt for our next report.
Welcome to Port Harcourt. The River State Police Command has arrested a kidnapped kingpin, Anthony Kichuk, in Imo State, who operates in Umuebule, a Che local government area of the state. Antonio Kichuku allegedly killed and dumped the bodies of his victims in a sockaway at Umuebule. Robinson Durata reports that the police who visited the scene evacuated the bodies of the victims.
An hour and a half drive from Port Harcourt to Umuebule community police by the commander kidnapping squad Edwin Collins. Their mission to evacuate the bodies of the 4 victims allegedly murdered by Anthony Okechukwu. The victims were businessmen who supplied Okechukwu shoes and later killed by him after inviting them to collect their money.
We do sincerely apologize for the poor signals from our Port Harcourt studio. Now, troops of Operation Hadirin-Daji have rescued 39 persons kidnapped by armed bandits in Bimasa and Anka Forest of Zamfara State. The victims were handed over to Zamfara State government to be reunited with their families. Sadia Abubakar now has more.
The ongoing military operation against unrepentant bandits in Zamfara State has continued to record a huge success with the neutralization of a number of the bandits and destruction of their camps in various parts of the state. One of the latest achievements of the operation is the rescue of some 39 persons held hostage by the bandits in Anka and Bimasa Forest along Zamfara-Sokoto boundary.
They are believed to be captured or captives of the notorious bandit known as Nasanda, who is on the run and whose camp has been destroyed.
Zamfara State Commissioner for Security and Home Affairs, Alhaji Abubakar Muhammad Dauran, received the victims on behalf of Governor Bello Muhammad.
I want you to continue with this good work. I believe with this, your action, inshallah, Zamfara will be free.
The rescued persons who narrated their ordeals to NTA News expressed gratitude to the military and the Zamfara State government for regaining their freedom, describing their experience while in captivity as heartbreaking. 22 of the released captives are indigents of Zamfara State, while the remaining 17 hail from Sokoto State. In Gusau, Sadia Abubakar Tuno, NTA News.
Let's take a bit of sports now as CAF confirms major decisions